All right, so let me go ahead and open my Visual Studio 2019. I'm going to create a new project. This one here. Let's just stay a little bit longer. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to create a project, which is going to be Aspnetcore Web API. All right, so this one I'm going to call it Micro 2. Stands for microservice. You can call it whatever you want. So, and you can save it to any folder you want. Okay. So here says authentication. I don't need none because we're not doing that. Aspnetcore 5 configure. Yeah, this pretty much you can enable that. Configure HTTPS. Yes, let's go ahead and create. It's just going to take just a bit. All right, so this is pretty much. Let's go ahead and build the project so you guys can see what it comes with. All right, let's go ahead and build this project. It's building, depends on your internet or your computer, how fast it is. So here it is. It's going to take just a second. All right, cool. So this is what comes with. This is just just one controller, which is called the weather controller. We don't need that. All right. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a folder. This one here, it's going to be called models. So I'm going to go ahead and add it. It's going to be models. And this one here, I'm going to create my first class, which is going to be members. I am going to give it my first class. And this one here is going to be called members. Actually, member CS. Okay, so I got that. Make sure you make it public. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an ID, which is you guys can use pro tab, and then you got to give it an ID. Next thing I'm going to do is it's going to be the string, and this one's going to be the first name. Make sure you capitalize the first. This is first name. Okay, this one's going to be last name. Last name. The next one the next one's going to be a string. It's going to be the email. Next one's going to be the mobile. Oh, make sure you do string. Oh, there, oh, can't spell. Next one's going to be salary tab. All right, cool. So now we have that. Next thing I want to do, now we have that. All right, so we got to, I'm going to create another one. It's going to be for the data. I'm going to create another folder. This one's going to be my data. This is where the data connection is going to be. So this one, we're going to give it a class of data context. Data context. There you go. Data context. All right, cool. So that's that. So now we got to go to get package manager. Here we're going to install a couple packages. Let's go here. All right. First one I'm going to do is I'm going to look for Microsoft entity. Entity framework. This one right here, framework core. So make sure you install the correct version to yours. Like if you have .NET Core 6, but I have .NET 5.0. So all I'm going to do is this one here, 5.001. And so I'm going to go ahead and install that one. Then I'm going to do Microsoft Entity. I'm going to install framework. I'm going to install, I'm looking for the SQLite. That's going to be, hold on. I got to install this one too. You got to install Microsoft Entity Framework Core Tools. So make sure you do that one. Make sure you install the correct version. Go ahead and install that. If you're going to use Microsoft Entity Framework Core SQL Server, you can do that. But I'm always, whenever I'm doing testing, I always like to use the SQLite. It's lighter, it's faster. That's just by preference. All right, so here it is. I'm gonna go ahead and install that one. Okay. Okay, so I have all of that. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and save it. Now let's go ahead and go back over here to data. This one here, we wanted the derive from, oh, what is this? What just happened? Oh, that's just that. Hold on 1 second. So here we're going to do is we're going to do DV context. DV context. Okay, control dot. Okay, so here using Microsoft Entity Framework Core, make sure you do that. Let's do control dot again. Let's go ahead and generate constructor data context. So make sure you do that. So here's where it's going to be. When you do the migrations for your data, this is where it's going to be. This is where it's going to be right here. All right, so that's that. All right, so let's go ahead. And now we got to go back to the startup, which is over here. Let's go here. All right, over here, we got to configure the service so that way the SQL Server will know that we're trying to connect SQLite. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So here we're going to do is we want to add up that we're going to do is add DV context right here. And this one we want to do is we want to bring in the data context. Data context. Let's go ahead and bring that in. And here we want to do is configuration. Oh, wrong one. Config. Configuration. Get connection string, which is right here. And then I'm going to call this one default connection. Default connection. Perfect. Just like that. And then, oh, wait, I messed up. Yeah, I messed up. Hold on. Sorry about that. I messed up real bad. Let me fix this. So I'm actually supposed to be, let me go ahead and delete this. Okay, so here it's supposed to be options. So here it's supposed to be options like that. And then you want to use SQLite. You have to import it, of course. And then here, that's where configuration goes here. Configuration, get connection string, and then you can put in default connection right there, just like that. Then, well, make sure the US SQLite, make sure it gets imported up right there. If you actually take a look, it's right there using Microsoft Entity Framework Core. Okay, so we import that. So now that we import that, let's go ahead and close that. Okay, that's that. Perfect. So let's go ahead and save that. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and bring the first model here. It's going to be my first model. So it's going to be DV set. This one is going to be member. Oh, member. Then here it's going to be members. Okay. control dot will bring the models, import the models. So that's that. So now that we have that, let me see, models, data. Okay, so we have that. We have the model. We have to go to the app settings, which is here. This is where you're going to create the connection. So let me. All right, so here, what you want to do is you want to type in connection strings. And you want to do default connection. Oh, default connection. And here you want to do is data source equals, let me call this one member app that DB. There it is. Perfect. That's that. All right. So now that we have that, let me see. We should be ready to create our first migration. So let's go ahead and open. Let's go to package manager console. So let's type in add migration, which let's give them a name. So which is going to be add models. You can call it whatever you want. I'm calling add models. Let's just call it add. Well, I'm going to call it add models. So I'm just go ahead and hit enter. And if there's any errors, I will let you know right there. Okay, so once it goes through, we want to do update database. Perfect. So no errors, everything's good. If we can see here. So I'm using SQLite. All right, so let me go ahead and open this. Let me show you guys. So I'm going to open my SQLite. So let me go ahead and open data. Let me look for, I think it's, let me go here, which is micro 2. So see that little folder here, which is this member app. I'm going to click on that. And if we browse the data, which is here, see, it has a first name, last name, email, whatever, salary. So it's all of that. So, yep, it's right there. So cool. So now that we have that, so now that we have all of that, we can go ahead and create our first controller. See, very fast, very simple. So the first controller, I'm going to call it. So let's go ahead and hit add controller. And then we go here to, it says API. And of course, we're going to click an empty one. So let's go ahead and click that empty one. And this one's going to call, I'm going to call it members controller. So I'm going to go ahead and add members controller. So the first thing I want to do is I want to establish my connection with, the data. So I'm going to do, so you guys you can type in CTOR and hit tab. And see, it will create that for you. So the first thing I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and import the data. So data context, that's the name of my data and context. And you want to go ahead and import that. That is coming from using Microsoft Micro 2 data. So go ahead and import that. I'll show you guys where that's coming from. That's actually coming from the folder, which is right here, data. See the data context, which is that. So, and then you want to do control dot, and you want to go ahead and initialize the field. That's what's going to do. So I always like to do underscore. Okay, so I'm going to do underscore context. All right, cool. So here, this is going to be our first one. So it's going to be HTTP get. So what I want to do is we want to do public. You want to do action result, and you want to do get members. And here, I'm going to show you two different ways you can do it. And both ways they can actually work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, this one's going to be bar members. And this one's going to be context dot members, because that's the name of the class that we're using. And then we want to get the list. So we want to do two lists. That's that. And then you want to return okay. And this one is going to be members. Say that's that one. So that's to return all of them. That's one way to do it. All right. This one here, HTTP get, you want to get one single ID. So you want to do ID. Same thing. We're going to copy this one because it's just going to be the same thing. The only thing different on it, we got to pass an integer ID. And here, what you want to do instead of being members, you want to do members. And then here you want to do, you can do it. You can do first of default, and that's going to be, you can pass the M ID, and it's equal to ID. So, and then you can return the member. That way it can work, or you can actually use find. You can actually put find ID, which is, it will look for just one simple one. All right. So here, what I want to do is I want to create the post. So I want to do HTTP post. This is to create. So what I want to do is I want to do public async. Then we want to do task. And then it's going to be action result. And it's going to be, it's called create member. So create member, we're going to use data binding. So, oh, what happened? So here, we got to pass the model class, which is the member. Oh, shoot, what did I do? Member. So here, I'm going to pass that. So let's go ahead and bring that in. All right, perfect. So we got that. 1 second, let me get some water. Guys, so the create member is gonna take member and member. You're also gonna need to, I gotta put in here member. Okay, cool. So we have that. So the first thing I'm gonna do to create a member, make sure it's HTTP, then we got to do context. That members. This one's going to be add. And you want, of course, you want to add up the member. And then after that, what you want to do is you want to save it. But because I'm using async, so you want to make sure you await. Okay. So here is going to be context, and then you want to save it. Save it changes async. So the last thing you want to do on this one is you want to do return. You want to return, and that's going to be create action. And then you want to do get member. Get member, because that's the oh, I forgot to change that to get member because we want to do pass one member. All right. So in here, you want to create a new one. So you want to do is you want to do an ID, and this one's going to be equal to member.id. Excuse me. All right, so that's that, and it's going to be member. That's that. Perfect. All right, so that's that. That's to create. This highlighter in red. I know why. Okay, cool. So that's that. Let me go ahead and build it. I want to see what it looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and build it. So it's going to take a second. Let me close the other one. All right, cool. So that's that. All right, let's create the first member. Let's go ahead and try it out. Let's go ahead and let's see if it works. So the first member, I am going to call it I'm going to call it UXDB82. And you can call it, you just make up your own, make up whatever name you want. The last name I'm going to call it Wonder again. Wonder. The email is going to be wonder@gmail.com. Mobile is going to be 321-45678. Okay, so that's that. Salary wise, let's make 150,000. So that's 150,000. And let's go ahead and execute. All right, cool. Let's see what we got. So, okay, we got a 200, which is success. And let's go ahead and get the member. So let's go ahead and try it out. Let's go ahead and execute. If everything went well, we should have the first member, which is right there. Cool. So that's that. So let's go ahead and let's create 2 more. So I'm gonna go ahead and create 2 more. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward this. All right, guys, so I created a few more members. So let me show you. So I got 3. All right, let's say I want to get just a single one. So let's say I want to get, let's go ahead and get 1. Instead of getting multiple ones, let's just get 1 with the ID of 2. Let's see what we get. So if we see, we just get a single one. Perfect. All right, let's say you want to update it. So let's say you want to update it. So we got to go back again to our controller to create that. So let's go ahead and close this. Okay, let's go back to the controller and let's go ahead and create another one for the update. All right, so let's do that right now. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to create this one here, which is it's going to be if the member already exists. So I'm going to do private boolean, and it's going to be member exists. And this is we're going to pass an ID, and this one, what you want to do is a return context dot member dot any. And this one is going to be, I'm going to pass m dot member ID equals to ID. Perfect. So that's that. All right. So now we can go back again. We can go back again to the update one. So the first thing I want to do is it's HTTP, and we're going to do put, and we got to pass an ID.
Yes.
Hold on a second. Okay, so here you want to do the same thing. It's going to be public, and then we want to do async, and then we want to do task, and we want to pass action result, and this one here, I'm going to do update member. So here to update the member, you're going to need the ID, and you're also going to need the class member. You're making it simple. All right, so first thing you want to do, you want to verify, make sure if ID it's not equal to member.id, you want to send a bad request. So you want to do return bad request. So that's that. Oh. All right, so that's that. And then here, what I want to do, once you do that, then you want to do context entry, and you want to do member dot state, and you want to use the entity state. Entity state. That was not supposed to happen. Entity state. Modify. Go ahead and click. Oh, we have to import this. And this is going to be modified. And here, what you want to do is you want to use a try catch. So once you use the try, you want to do await this. And then If everything goes well, you want to go ahead and save it. Save changes async. And then here you want to catch the error. So here it's going to be catch dv update current exception and exception. I can pronounce that one. So this one is going to be if member exists. Actually, it's if member doesn't exist, then you want to pass not found. Not found. So else, just going to throw an error. There you go. And last but not least, what you're going to do is if you don't find anything, you're going to throw no content. No content. Okay, perfect. That's that. So that's that. That's to update it. Okay. All right. So, and we're missing, let's go ahead and do, might as well, since we're already here, let's go ahead and do the one for delete. So we want to go, so this one's going to be very similar to the other ones. So this one's going to be HTTP. So we want to do HTTP delete. And here you want to pass the ID. The ID. Oh, very similar to the other one. So we're going to do is pass an ID. And here you want to do public async. I do task, and that's going to be action. Action result, and this one's going to be delete member. Delete member, and then here I want to do is pass the ID. So here, just like the other ones, want to do is grab the member. So it's bar member, and this one is going to. You have to await. Context. Members. You want to do find because you got to find the one ID and you got to pass the ID. Okay, so this one. So now here, if member, it's equal to null. That means you didn't find anything. Then you want to do a return not found. Perfect. We want to do that. All right. Now, if you find it, so you want to do that member that remove. You want to remove the member if you find it, which is this right here. All right. So then you want to do away. You want to save it. You want to save the changes because you already removed it. So you want to go ahead and save it. And then, but then you want to do is return no content. All right, so, all right, cool. So that's the whole operation for the Crud operation on the API. Just, we got to get the all IDs, single ID. You can update it, the member. And here you can create a new member. And last, you can do the delete. Oh, and this one here is if there's already a member on it. So it says member exists, you have that one. All right, perfect. So that's that. So let's go ahead and build it. Control F5. So see, we have all the get, post, get by a single one, to put an ID. So let's go ahead and get them all. Let's go ahead and execute this. Let's go ahead and execute this. All right, go ahead and execute that. Sorry about the background, that's my daughter playing. All right, so that's that 1, 2, 3. You got 3. And then here, I'm gonna go ahead and use the delete. I'm gonna go ahead and delete one, which is gonna be delete. I'm gonna put in I'm gonna do the try, and I'm gonna do delete 3. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Cool. And execute. Let's go ahead and execute. Excuse me, sorry about that. my little girl being so loud. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and execute that. All right, cool. So that's that. What did we get? A 404. Let me already delete it. All right, so let me go ahead and execute this one. Number 3 should be gone. Yep, it's gone. So that's it, guys. So that's the full, pretty much the whole entire Crud operation, creating with doing it with Aspnetcore API. All right, guys, this is it. So this here, I'm going to use it to build, to actually show you guys how to do using the repository. And also then that will be the second video. The third video, I'm going to use either JavaScript or Angular to call the APIs. So stay tuned for more videos. This is only the beginning. All right, guys, see you on the next one. Take care.